Some call me the Oracle, some call me Whitestar, Aquasil, Salal to Spokes, tactically Whitestar Eagle Visions. I earn these names traditionally. I'm a pipe carrier, a lodge keeper, I'm a prophecy teacher. Right now, as a species, we are going through this amazing revolution. And you're a part of it. You know, way back in 2012 when nothing happened, so much happened. But they forgot to tell you. They forgot to show you. I'm sure you recognize the whole world is in a real interesting place right now. And the prophecies are clear that the past is coming to an end, is being dismantled as gently as possible, but definitively being dismantled. And you, as a human, are becoming so much more than you used to be. New chakras, new frequencies, new energies, new awareness, new science. You want to keep up? Come hang out with me once a week. We're going to talk about some really interesting stuff. Weird is the new sexy, they tell me. So come on, let's get weird together. Attack Wise. See you soon. Hi. Here, have some smudge. Have some sage. I like the white buffalo sage. It has this velvety, rich kind of aroma to it. You can get me all phlegmy because it's clearing out my sinuses, actually. Sage is cool because it's a sterilizer. You know, it will get into those corners, maybe where your cleaning brush can't even. It will clean and sterilize, things that you don't necessarily want to get wet. And it brings with it this really powerful, uplifting, encouraging, fulfilling kind of an energy and a sense to it also, in my opinion anyway. And you can use the other kind of a sagebrush, sage, and there's a whole variety of different kinds that you can use. One of my previous properties, we harvested something called silver sage. It had been the first time I bumped into this critter, and I loved it. I'm fresh out, since being off that property now, but sage itself is so powerful, it literally is kind of throws the baby with the bathwater out of it. Some of my teachings, I share that you may not want to use sage all the time to clear a space. You might want to use lavender. Lavender attaches itself to negative particles, if you like, and gently weighs it down, gets it out of the way, but it leaves all the rest of the stuff in place. Whereas sage gets in there and everything goes, right? And so lavender is a little more gentle. Palo Santo obviously is a good purifying cleanser as well, but Palo Santo is made specifically, in the aromatic, ways of the world to also stimulate mental dynamics and thinking. It's, to be honest, it's almost, stepping in what true good tobacco is supposed to do for humans, which is stimulate mental activity. The true tobacco, not this, pretend commercial stuff that they have these days. True tobacco, you couldn't just John Wayne up a cigarette and, expect to finish it without just blowing your head off. It's so strong. At least, the stuff that I played with, not this commercial tobacco stuff. But true tobacco was meant not to be smoked casually like that anyway. You're supposed to engage in it, if for better or for worse, even in a pipe, right? The old wizard's pipe, the old ponderer, the hermit, you pack the pipe and, and while you're sitting there blowing smoke rings, you're contemplating the universe, and that's kind of tobacco, because it was originally this medicine that encouraged us to get very heady up front, and so I just thought I'd share that little bit with you. A little bit of teachings right off the mark there. My week, I don't know how your week's going, but here on the West Coast, Canada, we have some glimmers of spring happening. I saw some cherry blossoms, starting to do the pink dance. I've, seen some of the green, starting to show up as little tiny baby sprouts show up. But we also saw snow today. So, welcome to the West Coast, Canada, definitely. I suspect within the next couple of weeks, I'll be getting to a place where I should start, seeding. And so I spent the day today, preparing some of those gardens and, just working with the earth, as there's just something really powerful about that. I had the privilege, the opportunity and the privilege to live off grid actually for about 5 years. and so living with nature, bonding with the cycles and the seasons and I mean, all of that was, to be honest, probably one of the favorite times of my life. And I've had some really great places that I've lived and visited and connected with. And, just those moments of being out in the woods, literally off grid, where there was nobody literally around for miles and miles and miles and miles, just me and my dog, were in some cases some of the most glorious and happiest moments, the most healthy moments on all levels that I experienced personally, and it's interesting. Sorry, I'm still clearing out this sage motivated draining taking place. So I apologize for the all over you. So yeah, it's been a busy week working with the earth, working with the land. I'm promoting way more my healing practice these days. I just signed up for a gig on March 24th here in Vancouver. It's called Speed Healing. And what that means is I'm going to set up a table with a bunch of other practitioners, and they're going to fire a whole bunch of people at me. I mean, you got to pre-book your space, of course, and they come and spend time with me. I think it's 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. And in that 5 or 10 minutes, I get to basically heal, energy work, kind of, showcase my techniques and my healing and who I am. And I couldn't think of a funner time for me. Put me in a room full of other healing practitioners and then bring somebody new to me every 10 minutes. Oh my goodness. I'm seeing some awakening protocols going down there, is what I'm saying. I mean, it's literally, yeah, a little bit of reflexology, little tiny bit of, Reiki to get them opened up. And then we just imprint awakening protocols and frequencies and, some Star Nation, language. And I mean, 10 minutes is a lot of time. And I'm so looking forward to having this opportunity to share, these awakening protocols with the world, with an evolving world, right? I mean, yeah, sure, 10 minutes isn't the full treatment, but, if you get a chance to come and see me and, throw you on the treatment table for 90 minutes, oh my goodness, your life won't be the same. I mean, talk's cheap. I could brag about it for hours, but, even just after 5 minutes, you'll know that you met me, honest to goodness. And, I'm a good reader. I'm a pretty good teacher, but it's when I get that energy flowing, it's when I juice. My spirit name is Whitestar, and it means North Star, but it also talks about having the emanations and the juice of a star. And there's a part of me that actually exists. There's a part of me that it's so bright, so powerful. Even with my eyes closed, I have to squint. Yeah, even myself, when I allow that to show up, which March 24th, I'm gonna, and, that's that part of me that shows up when I'm opening up my bundle in ceremony and I'm engaging with the creator, the universe, God, put a name on it. But, I engage with that consciousness that exists in that big way. And that bright is pure light. It's pure sacred, pure holy. Yeah, it's a part and a piece of me that's actually bigger than me, bigger than even my higher self, right? And I don't know, is that God? Is that creator? What is that? I know I've had a relationship with my whole life. I'm sure you have too. And, so a big part of the Whitestar teachings are to ask these questions. Yes, we're going to, and we can, refine your metaphysical acumen and your abilities and your gifts and all that stuff. Well, yes, taking the courses, you're going to catch up metaphysically, and you're going to have this tool that's absolutely going to be purring the way it's supposed to, the way you weren't taught, from school, and certainly not through school, and certainly not as an adult. But we're going to teach you how to get that thing roaring, how to get the thing running real good. And then you decide what to call that light that you're connecting with, but we're going to introduce you to that, in a good, healthy way. And it's interesting because, pardon me, my last, as I'm kind of looking back on my most recent life this last little while, it's interesting because 224 for me is an opportunity to be honest. It's almost like I'm stepping out of the cocoon, and I got these new butterfly wings. It's got like a new lease on life. It's, I know that there's crash coming. Yeah, I'm grateful to be able to broadcast you today after the Facebook hiccup, right? And the other social media stuff. But I suspect at some point it's all going to go blip, and then I'll just tend garden, and love my life and till further notice, right? But in the meantime, I am thrilled. And I mean thrilled to be able to continue teaching and sharing. And today, even more so, to be able to bring somebody that's one of my friends, one of the people, my little superheroes in life. She's so full of humility, but to be honest, I got a lot of respect for this lady. You know what? Just bring her out if you don't mind, Lonnie Galera. Hello, my love.
Hello, David. Thank you very
Now,
much for having me on.
you've had me on your show a couple of times. We've done a couple of different things in the past. And, I just, now that we've launched on this new network, Adventures for Connections, you were the first person that we had to have you on. We just had to have you come join us.
Everything is so perfect, divine timing.
Totally. Now,
Up until now, I didn't have anything to say.
I always give this first little please come on stage moments to people like yourself, and this has to be humility free and guilt free. I want you to brag about what it is you're working on. What are you up to these days? What is inspiring you? What are you bringing to the table? Brag like crazy. This is that know who you are.
Okay, I don't know if I'm really at bragging status right now, since everything that I am has been percolating up is very recent for me. So I feel like I'm just stepping into my mission and my reason for being here, and it's taken a long time for me to figure out what that is.
Okay.
So okay, so just a little bit of background.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So my spiritual journey began as a child. So I started connecting with Source and Spirit after my mother passed away. And she's been a guide and a support from the other side for me. And the rest of my life, I've lived very independently. I was out of the house by the time I was 13 years old, and independent financially, living with boyfriends and then living on my own. I've lived on my own most of my life. For the last 20 years, briefly before that, I was a fitness instructor. I got to travel all around the world. I mean, Divine Source and Spirit has taken me to all of the different corners of the world for reasons I have yet to discover. But for the last 20 years, I've been a stunt woman. Let me say, okay, it's 2024 now. So I can't say that anymore because I was a stunt woman for 20 years, from 2001 to 2021. So I can't say I've been a stunt woman for 20 years anymore. I was a stunt woman for 20 years. Yes. And that is a very big part of me developing my independence, my financial abundance, overcoming all of the fears that you can imagine physically and emotionally. And, that has a large part to do with the fact that I became a courage coach and I started teaching people how to be brave.
Sure.
And
better, right?
Yeah. So I started doing that in 2017, even before all of this pandemic stuff. Actually, on March 13th of 2020, I was doing a talk at our local Squamish Adventure Center, and there was about 200 people there, and I was the host of the event, and it was called Being Courageous in Life and Business. And I had a number of guest speakers, and we were all talking about being brave. And I remember talking about, there was a little bit of a rumor of this like virus, and some people were getting nervous, and there was like hand sanitizer everywhere. And you could actually feel the fear in the audience. As I was talking about being brave in life and business, you could feel the fear building up in society, in my community. And I think that was very interesting because I was drawn to try to show people how to be brave in life, right at a time where the entire world fell into fear. So everything is divine and on time. And in 2020, when the pandemic happened, I stepped outside of the film industry. Are you still there?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
I think somebody just called me on the phone and the screen just went off. So
Yeah.
I stepped outside of the film industry because I didn't want to play that game with the whole entire pandemic, because from my perspective, the way that I looked at it, it was all propaganda, it was all fear mongering, it was all a big hoax. I didn't believe any of it. I wasn't afraid of anything, and I didn't want to get tested. I didn't want to wear a mask. I didn't want to get that thing, and I just said no thank you. So I stepped away from my 20-year career, which was actually a career that I loved. I mean, who wouldn't love to be a stunt woman in TV and film? And I got to do all the things that I love to do, all of the physical endeavors. And I got to meet some amazing people and work with some really big names and people that I thought were really amazing and inspirational. I stepped away from all of that because it no longer resonated with my values and, you know, how I wanted to show up in the world. So when I stepped away from that, it was in 2021 that I started trying to figure out, okay, so if I'm not going to do that anymore, I have to do something. What am I doing? So then I started picking up on my courage coaching and trying to encourage people to be brave and to maybe do some research and to find what aligns with them inside. Like, all of the answers to everything that you need to know in this world are already inside of you. And I started trying to find a way to help people build a brave and abundant mindset. So I started writing more, and I've been a writer my whole entire life. But it was in 2021 that I put together this book. This is my, oh, there we go. This is my Lionheart Activation Journal. It's a 30-day journaling challenge to build a brave and abundant mindset. This was in 2021. And I just wanted to encourage people to start doing a little bit of their personal growth work and start overcoming their fears and defining their values and healing from their past trauma and letting go of all of those like lower vibrations of anger, resentment, guilt, shame, trying to let go of all of that. That's what I wanted to encourage. And it was right after I finished that book that I started aligning with other freedom fighters that were standing up and speaking out against the narrative. They were all across Canada. They were organizing rallies, freedom rallies. They were standing up to the medical and the pharmaceutical industry, and they were standing up to their local law enforcement that was trying to enforce these ridiculous mandates and rules and restrictions. And they were all just getting so incredibly attacked for it. So it was very brave. It was very brave of them to stand in their power and stand up for something that they believed in. And I felt like I was one of them, and I wanted to collaborate with all of them so that we could encourage everybody else to be brave in a very, difficult time.
From the perspective of a fellow freedom, fighter, for lack of a better word, actually probably more of a freedom lover than a freedom fighter, even myself. Yeah. But I saw your journey, and I did see it take it on the chin a little bit. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I did take it on the chin. But, and this is what I kind of want to share in this interview, is a little bit of my conscious ascension process and how much I've learned myself from collaborating with all of these people. So the first book was called The Brave. There we go. Yes, The Brave, Courage During COVID. And it's green because courage comes from the heart. And these are 20 different freedom fighters from across Canada that all took it on the chin, right? And they were all very brave and courageous, and they stood up for something that they truly believed in and thought that was right. And also in 2022, I also organized the Sea to Sky Freedom Rally. It was the first freedom rally here in Squamish. So, and although there was about maybe 100 people that attended that rally, it really did make me the enemy of Squamish.
Ah.
Yeah, so I did take it on the chin there, and you know, but I had to get back up, and I had to keep on doing my research and aligning myself and collaborating. And then I thought, okay, it's not about the fight, is it? It's not about the fight. It's about, where are you putting your focus? Whatever you resist will persist. So where are you putting your focus? You don't want to fight against something. You want to collaborate with other people that are trying to accomplish the same thing, right? And then I thought, well, the most important thing about that is communication and collaboration, and that comes from your throat chakra. So the next book that I did was Speaking Truth to Power, and this was another collaboration with 20, yes, that's the one, 20 different authors from across Canada. And they're all sharing their stories. And there you are. Yes, yep, you're right there in the corner. And I love your chapter in this book, by the way, because it was all about the power of the words that we use. And that has a lot to do with what I'm currently doing today. But yeah, so Speaking Truth to Power was all about those who are holding those authorities responsible for their crimes against humanity, for their corruption and for their lies and for the deception and all of that. And yeah, so very powerful stories, 20 very powerful stories. And then, you know, because I've always been a spiritual person, and because I've been aligning with all of these people that are all going in the same direction, I realized that this is a spiritual war. We are in a, like, every one of these books has taught me something, given me this big picture perspective, because it's 20 different stories. You read 20 different stories about basically the same thing, and you're getting 20 different perspectives. So you can take what resonates with you and you can leave whatever else behind, but it really did give me a big picture perspective of what's happening. And then the third book that I did was actually, it's to activate your pineal gland. And it has to do with all of the healers and the empaths and the intuitives and the oracles and the shamans and the medicine people who are actively trying to heal humanity and ascend human consciousness, helping with the conscious ascension of humanity. And I'm pretty sure every single solitary person in this book, and thousands upon thousands of others of us, light workers and starseeds, and yep, there you are. Oh yes, and your story in this book I absolutely love, Galactic Origins.
Oh
Yeah. Oh, I love that story, and you're such an incredibly talented writer, and you have these amazing stories to tell. Yes, I loved that story, but this gave me like a really big picture perspective of the healers and the people who are energetically trying to assist humanity in not only waking up, but in letting go of all of the control structures of the 3D matrix. And yeah, so I mean, I absolutely love this book. And they are in their colors are in alignment with the chakras that they're meant to activate. So I mean, it's not really bragging, but that's a brief summary of what I've been up to until now. And
Bragging rights earned. Absolutely. Seriously.
having said that, I just want to interject a little bit. 2023 was probably all of these books I did 2020, 21, 22, 2023. I took a little bit of a break. I did some sacred medicine and I did some ceremony, and I kind of got what I asked for, but I asked for cleansing, purification, detoxification, and I asked to increase my connection to source. And holy moly, did I get hit on the chin. And yeah, so spirit and source just kind of laid it all on me. And they just like, I had health crisis after health crisis. I had financial crisis. I had to say goodbye to a whole bunch of people that I thought were going to be in my life for a very long time. It was heartbreaking. It was physically, I was in a lot of pain, and I had to learn how to heal myself. I had to learn how to energetically release all of the lower vibrations that were all coming up for me to process. And that's why they were coming up.
Totally.
It all came up all at once. It was really overwhelming. So 2023, I didn't really do very much productively. Having said that, it was probably the most productive year of my life as far as personal transformation, healing, and ascending my own consciousness. So elevating my own frequency and elevating my own vibration. And 2024, so far, third month into 2024, I have a very good understanding of what's happening on the planet. I have a very good big picture of what's happening on many different dimensions and different planes of reality. So I'm very well aware of what the 3D matrix of control is. I know that we're going through everything that we're going through. It's all connected. It all has a reason. And I know where we're going. We're going into the higher vibrations of the fifth dimension. It's heaven on earth. And I've visualized it and I've seen it. And so this last month, and especially this last week, even in conversation with you, a little bit more of my mission has become very clear. And thank you for letting me share this. It's quite a bit.
Please. This is your platform right now. This is why I do this, is so that I can shine that Whitestar spotlight on people just like you. I don't need to blow any smoke up your whatevers, but honest to goodness, the courage you have showed, right? You are an inspiration. I find myself, even those days when I find the brick wall, I just keep smacking it around myself. Sometimes, I go back to some of those testimonials, or every so often someone will sneak a message to me somewhere that says, hey man, you don't even know me, but wow, I caught your, I caught your teaching here and I caught your sharing there, and and all of that. And so, you don't get enough. You've spent, and I've also seen you defer that spotlight a number of times. Again, you publish these books, but you were highlighting other people. You were still allowing and sharing, a platform for others, right? Which, to be honest, was a partial inspiration for exactly what I'm doing here right now, which is, again, sharing a platform for others, right? One of the questions that came in was, how do people get their hands on the books? We'll continue talking about saving the world, but just do the plug and make sure people know where to find the books, okay?
Great. So all of the books are available on Amazon. And some people don't really like Amazon. If they want to connect with me, I have a few of the first and the second book. I no longer have any of the third book anymore, and I have the Lionheart Activation Journal, so they can just connect with me and then I can send it to them if they like. Aside from that, right now, they're only available on Amazon.
Okay. So hunt them down on Amazon, and we'll make sure that we get the link here when
And
this.
you really have to hunt them down because I think they're being censored or they're being hidden. You have to type in every word. Like for The Brave, you have to type in The Brave, courage during COVID for it even to come up on a search.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's go do this real quick then. Read that title then, and you at home, grab a pen for a second and write this down, so that when you punch it in there, that you make sure you're going to get to the right place. So the first one, you got to punch in The Brave, courage during COVID. The second one, The Brave, speaking truth to power. And the fourth one, ascending human consciousness, and it's also The Brave, ascending human consciousness. So track them down and make these books, top seller next week, and let's splatter them all over the planet.
That would be great, because you know what it really does? It really does give you, like, when you hear all of these different stories, it just really helps to broaden or open your mind to, some of the things that other people have gone through, and so some of the things that other people have done to overcome these challenges.
Totally.
So, and that is inspiring. So when you have all of these different stories, it's like expanding your mind.
Totally. And again, it's not about even promoting the books, but as an author myself, right? I was so inspired by what you created the first one. I didn't get a chance to participate in the first one, but when you invited me to the second one, it was like, oh my goodness, the people you introduced me to, the people I met, I'm still in contact with, and there's love affairs going on like crazy, and that's wonderful. And then of course you asked me to write your foreword for your third book as well, and as well contribute a chapter. And I'm just, again, you're one of my heroes, and not just because of the books, but because I authentically see this change in you. I authentically see this growth. It's interesting that so much of your story up until this point has been about this warrior priestess, if you like, this champion, to save the world from itself, right? And I honor that about you. I mean, there's this warrior inside you, this Queen of Swords, I mean, even just your career, 20-year career, as being this physical person, but also involved in storytelling, right? In these moments of inspiration, I'm saying.
Thank you, David. You're definitely one of those warriors as well. And
totally.
I think
game spots game, right? Definitely, for sure.
I think that right now, and particularly with the current level of consciousness on the planet and the current vibration, we're all starting to not only just waken up, but remember. A lot of us are starting to remember our true divinity and what we came here for, because every single solitary one of us, especially if you're watching this live stream, you came here, you chose to be here, you chose absolutely everything about your life, and no matter how challenging it is, you signed up for this. Like this is the big show. We all got the ticket to the big show, and everybody that would be watching something like this, you definitely came here for a reason. And if you have any inkling or calling to help in the ascension process, maybe you're a healer, maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're somebody that just has to go out in front of everybody else. Maybe you're the one that gets arrested because you didn't wear a mask, or maybe you're the one, you're the one that has to be brave and just start standing up to these false authorities. And we all came here for a reason.
In my opinion, probably one of the bravest acts, and one of the most difficult acts that I see humans undertake, is that act of authenticity. Right? You don't even necessarily have to have the big sword and dun 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 dun. You know what I'm saying? But every day be authentic, and smile, and just I've seen some powerful warriors serving drinks, right? Yeah. I mean, I've seen where if you're being authentic and you're serving drinks because you love serving drinks, does it make sense? And you want to be there, and you're showing up, and you're social, and you're connected, and because that's a sacred moment. You know what I'm saying? The breaking of bread, and the da 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 da, right? And that's just one example of when you're building that house for that person, and instead of the paycheck, maybe You know, it's interesting, you know, my old my old poppy, my dad, you know, I'm saying a boomer, of course, you know, he used to tell me all the time that one of the things that's missing from kids these days is those people who are able to step away from the job, and the fact you did a good job was part of the payment for doing the job. You know, you actually were able to step back and say, I did that, right? You know, you know,
Mhm.
and that was part of the payment, right? So, you know, you worked hard to be able to give yourself that good, that attaboy, right, at the end of the day, right? So, you know, for sure. And that's missing in so many places of our world. Does it make sense? You know, people just showing up for the sake of showing up, or
Mhm.
right? You know, and so in my opinion, that's probably people being authentic and pouring themselves into the things they love.
Mhm.
You know, we have too many doctors out there who are chasing the money, not because they're good healers, right? So, you know, you know, and we have you know, people in wrong positions chasing different purposes because of some other reason other than their authenticity. And if
Right.
nothing, that's what I'm hoping to inspire, you know, in others, you know.
So as we start to remember who we truly are and we start to let go of all of the things that we aren't, this is how we step into our true authenticity. And I have developed this belief probably over the last couple of years. I've developed a very empowering belief that tells me the brighter I shine my most authentic light, the universe is going to reward me for that.
True story.
And this is why, like stepping into my divine feminine goddess, I'm in a place of receptivity, of like all of the abundance, all of the things I've ever wanted, all of the things that I desired and I want to manifest in my life. They're all coming to me because I am showing up as my most authentic light. And this is the way of the warrior, the light warrior, right? And the light, just for anybody, when I refer to the light is very high vibrational information. And for those of us who are taking in this information and it resonates with us and we're sharing it with other people, that is the work of a light worker. So, and a light worker also takes in the darkness and takes in like all of the evil and the corruption. If you're able to take in that information and transmute it into high vibrational light, this is a healing. This is the healing that we came here to do. So yeah, authenticity is one of my core values. So, and this is what I encourage. A lot of people don't even know what their core values are. I would just ask you to, maybe ask yourself, maybe journal, whatever it is that resonates with you, but what is really important to you in your life? What are your core values? And you could have a list of 20 of them. You can have as many core values as you want, but I like to take the top 5. And those top 5 core values actually guide my entire life. If I have a decision to make about a job, about a person, about an event, about a party or something, is it in alignment with my top 5 core values? And if it's not, it's an easy decision. It's not something that I have to sit there and contemplate and hum and haw over. Like my core values are authenticity, integrity, compassion, love, and what's the other one? There's 5.
Damn it, there's supposed to be 5.
Authenticity and courage. Obviously, courage. Courage. That was like the top one. Anyway, those are my top 5 core values, and having those values set in place. Um, I compare everything. I compare every question, every decision that I have to make with those top 5 core values. And if it's not in alignment with those, then I just move along, because those top 5 core values, that is my authentic light. Those are the things that are really important to me in this world.
Totally.
So that's one of the exercises that I have in my Lionheart Activation Journal.
Love it.
But
Love it. Now, are you currently teaching a workshop around that? Like
yeah, no,
no.
no,
What
I
did
was. No, I'm not doing anything like that for that right now. I've
you, okay?
just recently stepped into a new kind of uh, intention.
Okay.
So what I see in the world especially with all of the psychological operation, even spiritual warfare. A lot of it has to do with the information, the propaganda, the negative programming, and everything that we've ever learned in our lives, including like in elementary school and in colleges. A lot of that information is meant to disempower us, and it's meant to take away our ability to heal ourselves, or our ability to manifest the things that we truly desire, because they don't want us to know how powerful we are. So all of the information that we've ever been told is very disempowering. And what I want to do right now is I want to share empowering information. And I can do that in the form of with the words that we use, right? Because every word that we use has so much energy and intention behind it. So I'm very careful about the words that I use and the way that I speak to myself and the way that I speak to others. And when you're wishing somebody else well, that's a blessing. If you're, if you're wishing that they succeed in something, or you're making a prayer, or you're making an affirmation, or you're doing a self-hypnosis, like all of these things are reprogramming the negative programming from the matrix. So, and they're empowering you to draw in and manifest everything that you've ever wanted. So what I've decided to do from now on is I'm creating all of these blessings, affirmations, prayers, self-hypnosis that we can do individually to draw in abundance, to draw in our soulmate, to draw in our soul tribe, to draw in, our purpose, to draw in divine guidance, to draw it, to overcome fear, to heal ourselves, to align our chakras, all of these things that we can do. It's like casting a spell.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. And the spell is counteracting the negative black magic that the news, the negative TV and movies and the propaganda and their narrative that they're trying to push. So I want to counteract all of that to help people expand their mind, open their heart, elevate their frequency, bring their energies up into the 5D frequencies of New Earth and heaven on earth. And I feel like that's what I'm doing here. I think that's what a lot of us are doing here, but I've just come to that realization.
From my heart out of your mouth, literally. Interestingly enough, of course, because the chapter I did write in your book has to do with speaking.
That's right, and the power of your words.
How everything that comes out of our face is an intonation, is a frequency, is a vibration, and that frequencies have impact on the world around us. It's just the way of it. Using this, and I also covered a little bit about how this English language is a bit of a mongrel language. It actually has been contrived. It has been created very on purpose. Yes, it was a trade language originally, a common language that got used on the ports around the planet, but at some point it became this catch-all. And I believe, again, without being, this conspiracy factist too much, because I've actually done some research on this, that the dynamic is such is that there was a choice to anchor into that. We've got some really old languages on this planet that we could very easily have anchored into, as the predominant languages on the planet. There's some ancient Mandarin stuff and even Romanian stuff. And even the French have got some old stuff going down. And of course, all the indigenous languages. And so these are languages that have juice. These are languages that have power. Around the Sweat Lodge, the Stone People's Purification Lodge, I was taught very clearly to, as much as possible, use the language because, spirit, and the way it was taught to me is spirit understands that language, but it's more than just, a cultural understanding. When you're speaking in a very conscious manner, when you are projecting sound and vibration and even semantics, because I'm playing with my hands, right? Verbal semantic, all I need is a component and I'm spellcasting, right? For sure. But, whether you're singing for the choir or, we even talked about, doing some singing. Singing to me, if I'm feeling ill, I literally crank up my favorite tunes and I might just be humming, but usually by the fifth song I'm singing. And I got to tell you, for me, that literally is one of the biggest and most powerful things. You take then singing into this sacred Stone People Purification Lodge, and that's one of the ingredients I love about it is the singing, because you actually want to open up your diaphragm and your lungs loud while you're in there so that you can absorb those medicines into you. But also there's the vibrations. When you're singing, you're vibrating, there's so much more going on, right? You know, I use tuning forks in probably one out of every healing treatments that I do for exactly
And
the same.
drumming is very
And the
powerful.
drumming, exactly,
Yeah.
right? And so there's, you know, the drum over the shoulder there, ready to rock, right? You know, and so, oh yeah, the drum itself actually gets right to mitochondria, and it just is, there's
Yeah.
primal something that goes on there in a big way too, right? And so, in other words, you're singing to the choir here, but I'm really appreciating that the folks at home are also hearing this, because they hear me tell them this all the time. But you know, it's kind of, if you knew how many times I've been in a situation as a psychic, I would tell somebody, a client of mine, something, you know, and they say, "Oh my God, this guy's brilliant. He sees me," you know, and then the wife who's standing next to him says, "I've been telling you that for years," right? You know, kind of idea. So I really appreciate your coming out here and you're giving these people what for, because literally out of my heart, you know, through your mouth it's landing exactly what I want to say too.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool too, right? Like you mentioned that you've had this kaboom awakening. Yeah, I've been doing it my life, waiting for these playmates to show up in my life, right? To come on board as inspired and as enlightened and, you know, as yourself, right? You know, for sure. And
You
what's
know,
so
somebody
cool is
just said, I think somebody just said that we're starting to take our power back. And that is very, very evident as people start to awaken and they start to realize the influences all around them. And I think it was Tesla that said the future of medicine, the future of manifestation, the future of everything, the future of communication and connection, everything has to do with frequency, vibration, and
frequency
energy.
vibration. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Tesla had a say in that, and Einstein, and
Yeah.
anybody who spent any time looking at the world comes back with exactly that same answer. And I can tell you from a metaphysical perspective, same answer,
Mhm.
right? If you want something done, you have to speak about it correctly.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's just the way of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm going to be sharing these blessings, and they're blessings that people can use to shift their shift their mindset. Thank you very much. Shift their mindset and shift their frequency into a higher vibration. And yeah, I mean, they can be very, very powerful if people were to recite them, not just read them. I don't want you to just read them. I want you to look at it and I want you to read it out loud. And I also want you to feel the energy behind every single solitary word, just like you were saying, right? When you read this out loud, it's like an incantation. Or even like in a song becomes mantra when you start saying it over and over and over again. And now that could be bad mantra, that could be positive mantra, depending on the words that are being used and
And
on the
that's
frequency.
huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like even myself, I've caught myself singing to some really cool tunes. Like the tune itself is rocking, but then I pay attention to the actual words coming out of my mouth. It was like, I don't want to be saying this out loud.
And this is how the music industry gets a lot of people. This is black magic, okay? So a lot when there's somebody standing up on stage and there's like 50,000 people and they're all screaming at the top of their lungs with so much energy, enthusiasm. But what are they saying? And they're saying it over and over and over and over again.
They're
This
chanting.
is black magic. This is a ritual. And I mean, this is how they have so much power and control and mind control over the masses, celebrities, false idols. So I'm not bashing all celebrities. Taylor Swift, I was the biggest Taylor Swift fan, but I can now see through that veil of deception and manipulation, and I can see it for what it is now. And not everybody can, and everybody's going to arrive at their own conclusions in their own divine timing, right?
Well,
But
I mean, like yourself, I've spent, I mean, not nearly 20 years, but I've spent enough time in the industry to know that it is possible to show up in that industry and have a clean life.
Mhm.
yeah, after a while, you just know which parties you're not going to go to, right? You know, and which group you're not going to hang with. And I mean, you may
Mhm.
not get hired by that production company, but that's okay. You don't want to, right? You know,
Yeah, and after working in the film industry for 20 years, I know that there are good guys. I
yeah,
definitely know that there are good guys, but also a lot of the people I thought were good guys, I mean, this is their whole entire the industry is built around making them look like the good guy. And the darkest, most evil guys are the most attractive, the most like alluring, seductive. Those are some of the darkest energies. So you really have to learn how to use your discernment, and you really have to learn how to connect with your own higher self guidance. Because, like I said before, all of the answers to everything that you need to know in this life is already within you. And your boot camp is actually really good. I've done a number of your boot camps, I think. And, you know, the skills and the tools that you give people for connecting with their own internal guidance and bringing forth those clear senses and, you know, activating all of their chakras, those are really powerful tools.
Totally. And
And
that's why the boot camp, especially when, you know, people started COVID-ing. I mean, I used to teach these in person to people around the world, literally. And then when they locked us up, I decided to hit the video airwaves and start offering it there. We do have another boot camp coming up in, I mean, I think probably in like 10 days or something like that, it gets started. So if anybody at home wants to participate in the next Zoom boot camp, it's 2 months long, 8 weeks. Once a week we get together, yeah, join us in this container, the Zoom room, and I teach. I pour into who you are and what you are. We have a curriculum, but it's going to change every new group, because every new group is going to want and demand different kind of teachings. I know what we're going to teach you by the end of it. Teach you how to see an aura, teach you how to move energy authentically, and all this cool stuff. Introduce you to you and give you some tools that, you know, if you practice these tools for a year, oh, enlightenment is assumed, you know, honest to goodness. And so that's coming up soon here. If you guys want to make an outreach, you know, to me, track me down on social media, and we'll get you on the
mm,
here definitely. But yeah, I keep forgetting you've taken that, you know, course itself, you know, totally. And I guess, to be honest, now even after hearing your story at length, you know, I showed up in your world that with those teachings, that again, just that moment, right? So, you
everything
know,
has been
um,
divine. And
to-
what I've realized is that for myself, from my own experience, from my own challenges, and in dealing with people, I can't help people that don't want any of my help. You can never heal somebody that doesn't want to take part in their own healing.
right.
You can't teach anybody something. You can't give them information unless they're ready to receive and learn that information. So, and when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And of course, you've always appeared in my life. In and out of my life, but over the last couple of years, mostly in my life at the most divine and perfect timing. So,
I agree.
and
And ditto. Like, you know, I think again, we're tribe, and I think that we're creating something here that's not just for our favor, but for the planet. You know,
mhm,
both of us, you know, in our private conversations off air here, both of us are very much in the realization that this draconian empire is on its way out, and in a very short amount of time here, money's not going to matter to anybody.
that's
And
right.
so we're already in that portion of our life where we're saying, well, if money doesn't matter, let's just do what we want,
Mm,
which is literally
that's
empowering
it.
humanity, right? You know?
I made a video a couple years ago about bringing back the barter, like, and then just doing things because you love doing them. Don't do things because you're going to make money doing them. Do things because you absolutely love doing them. And then moving forward, like financially, um, I'm not really looking for ways to make money right now, and that doesn't mean that I don't need any money. It means that I'm not trying to make money.
Yeah,
I'm
give me a
trying
million bucks,
to
I'll spend it by Tuesday. You know, you know,
what I'm trying
that's
to
the
do right now is follow my own internal guidance and follow my own calling and step into my mission and my reason for being and the whole entire purpose of me being on this planet at this time.
and then you
Why?
and
It's
then
to help with the collective conscious ascension
totally,
with humanity. And that doesn't mean I'm here to wake people up. That doesn't mean I'm here to heal people. No, it doesn't mean I'm even here to, you know, help people that don't want to be helped. what I'm doing is I'm trying to be the support, the encouragement, the empowerment, the inspiration, the motivation, and the love that people need when they want it, so that they can do their own work and they can heal themselves and they can learn whatever it is that resonates with them to learn, and they can learn how to manifest all of the things that they desire.
And the best way to accomplish that is to have those things that exist within you.
Right.
So that when people come to you looking for those things, you can say, yeah, I've got plenty right here. Right? Here, why don't you try that a little bit and then go make some of your own, right?
Yeah.
But it has to start from you. It has to start from you claiming and stepping up. And again, the courage to be authentic is,
Yeah.
boy, that's the medicine, right?
That is the medicine. And,
Boy.
just looking forward, even a couple years into the future, some people might think I'm crazy, but I'm sorry, but I don't see no more mortgages, no more debt, no more scarcity, no more no more poverty, no more slaving away at 3 jobs to pay the bills, no more taxes, no more interest, none of that. That's not what I see.
Correct. And we're not even talking about the socialistic or communist perspective of this either.
Yeah.
This is a way different level of consciousness. It's
And
not Klaus Schwab's version of you will own nothing and I will own everything.
yeah.
Not like that either. But it might have little bits and pieces of earmarks of that, you know what I'm saying, coming to it. But the bottom line is that when they take away your banking card, literally, and all the banks go away and the borders and all that stuff, you're going to find yourself living in a place that matches your needs, not your bank account, because the bank account doesn't exist anymore. Right? And then we're going to stop having, just as an example of housing, we've got, say, one person living in a 5,000 square foot mansion, their voice echoing through empty halls. And then we've got 500 people packed into a 100 square foot apartment, and so at the end of the day, I truly believe that when you take away this money, this draconian mentality towards assets and owning things, and in that scenario, I know for a fact that we're going to engage the world quite a bit differently, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
I ask my friends this question quite often, and this is a good little exercise for people to kind of play with. I want you to daydream about if you had $10 million, you had all of the money. $10 million is a lot of money.
It is.
Okay, you have $10 million. Now, what are you doing for a living?
Yeah.
What are you doing for a living? It's no longer, you're not doing anything for a living. You're doing what you love. And if you're doing something that you don't love, why are you doing it?
Right.
And okay, not only you has $10 million, but everybody else has $10 million too. So money isn't even a thing. And I'm getting a flying car.
Yes, because you can.
Yeah.
We all got one. Seriously, damn it. I want mine too. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to my flying car. Yeah, because I've been thinking.
It's funny. I did that same exercise. This one old timer came to see me. He was turning 60, and he's like, "So what should I do if I grow up?" Right? And so I sat him down and I said, "Dad, let's play this game. Here, I wrote you a check for $10 million. Let's spend it." We actually sat down with a pad and paper and we just got crazy with it, right? And we spent it all. And then I says, "Okay, well, here's another 10 million for you." And before we were done, we had like 40 million or something like that on the paper. And he'd literally done everything he could possibly imagine with money. Does it make sense, right? He'd done the traveling, he owns the stuff, he did it, you know what I'm saying? He gifted, all that stuff, right? Okay. And then I said to him, okay, so we spent all this money. Here we are in this really fancy, schmancy place. It's Wednesday morning. You got up, pour coffee. What's your next step? What are you doing with your day? Right. And that's the answer to that question is what you should do for a living. Yeah, honest to goodness, which is exactly what you just said, right? Totally.
And what I found when in my own daydreams, it doesn't, okay, you can have all of the material wealth that you want, but that's not how I really want to enjoy my life. I want to enjoy it. It becomes very clear to me that more than all of the houses or boats or cars or anything, more than that, I really want to be connected to Soul Tribe. None of that makes any doesn't matter to me at all if I don't have the people that I love around me, the people that I'm truly connected with, to share all of that with. So then, moving forward, what do I want to do? I want to connect with people. It becomes more about communication and finding a way of being more compassionate and developing community, um, and then all of that material possession, that becomes less important. So I like to daydream about those kinds of things. Like when I think about, okay, in a couple of years I'm going to be a millionaire, what am I doing? I'm not thinking about being out on a boat somewhere all by myself. No, I'm thinking about being surrounded by my friends and my loved ones, and maybe we're doing something that we all love, or maybe we're traveling somewhere, maybe we're laughing and we're dancing, and that's what I think about.
Well, I'm on that page, definitely, absolutely. We've hit the top of the hour. Unfortunately, run out of time here for this particular show. But you at home, track this lady down. You can, I mean, we're connected on all our Facebook stuff. Definitely track her down. Order the books off Amazon. Let's again get all that message out there. I just can't say enough. Thank you so much for coming on and bragging a little bit for us. I know that that's not comfortable for you, actually. Yeah, for sure. And I really appreciated having an opportunity to maybe put you on the spot so that you did shine. And thank you for allowing us to see you today.
Mm,
Like that's
you're welcome.
totally. So track
And
her down, folks. Track her down, bug the heck out of her, offer her all these opportunities to save the world. And I got her back, no problem. Totally.
thank you, David. And for anybody that wants, I don't even know how long Instagram is going to be up, or Facebook, but for right now, I've got a new account on Instagram. It's called @LadyBravenBlessings. And you can go there and you can receive all of my blessings and a positive hypnosis and affirmations and prayer, and all of that positive self-talk that's going to help to elevate your frequency. You can receive all of that for free.
Say it 2 more times. At
Um,
Lady Braven.
@LadyBravenBlessings.
One more time.
@LadyBravenBlessings.
I just love it when she says that, guys. Okay, guys. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Bye.